to Take It Slow Homestead. I'm Carol, and today I'm going to harvest some kale. So I thought I would take you along, and first of all, here's my raised garden bed that my son built for me. Anyway, here's the kale, and I have a great harvest of it coming up. So I hope that you can learn something from watching this. I do have some cattle panels right here along the raised bed. You can see that. Try to show you a little better. So yeah, and the reason why I have those is because we have deer that like to eat our gardens. So I do everything I can to keep them away from my garden. So as you can see, maybe this is a better way to see it. I'm pretty new at this, so hopefully we will be able to get through this together and learn something from each other. And if you have, whoa, noisy traffic. If you have suggestions that you want to give me, just be sure and leave a comment. So the first thing we're going to do is take down this cattle panel, and here we are. Here we are sitting next to the kale. Yeah, I'm not kidding when I said I have a pretty good batch here. So I'm going to start picking some of the lower branches, I guess they're just little stems, and give them to my chickens because they are a bit tough. And the ones that are more tender, that are like growing out of the middle part, the higher parts, then we will take those in the house and eat them. So let's get at it. All right, I've already changed my mind, and I'm going to pick some of these new tender stems first, and they really are lovely. This is actually the first year that I have grown kale, and the first year that I've ever eaten it. And the reason why I decided to grow it is because I watch YouTube videos, and there are several of the channels that are homesteaders, and well, that one is really young and tender. Yeah, most people I think would just, there we go, eat that plain right out of the garden because it really does look great. What I like to do is cook it. I like to cook it like spinach. And I also have put it in, mixed it in with like lasagna, spaghetti, some of those things, and it's very tasty that way, cooked. I like it cooked. So I'm just going to pick a few more tender ones here. I think I will leave that little teeny one there. Some of those really small ones that are just coming up, we'll leave those there. But this one I want. This one, yeah, this one, that's really nice. So I really like to garden. It's one of my favorite things to do. I call it playing in the dirt. I like to play in the dirt. When I was little, I liked playing in the dirt, and I still like it. I'm wondering if some of these really tall stems, kind of like that, are getting ready to go to seed. I don't even know what kale looks like when it goes to seed, but I'm sure I'll find out sooner or later. But these are pretty nice. Pretty nice. So the name of my channel is Take It Slow Homestead. And that's because I like to take it slow. And I have found that you can accomplish a lot even when you take it slow. So if you also like to take it slow, then I just want you to know that you can accomplish a lot even if you're taking it slow. Alright, that is probably enough for today. What did I see? Is that a bug? No, that was a drop of water. Good, I thought I had a bug. That would be bad, but I don't. Well, look at that one. You know, sometimes once you get going, you can't stop, right? If you garden, you know that. Alright, that looks like a good one. Holy cow. Alright, that's it. That's it. Now, I want to show you this raised bed. Oh, that's what we got. That'll make a good little batch. I'll cook it, blanch it, following the recipe for greens. Around here it's about 5 minutes. I might do it 7 because it's a little tougher than spinach. And then I will cool it, drain it, package it, and freeze it, and use it like spinach. Another thing that I've never eaten before and never grown before, but I decided to grow it this year, is kohlrabi. And there is a really good size one. There's my hand. See that? See that? It's bigger than my hand. I haven't picked any yet. I need to go online to my YouTube friends. Holy cow. This one's even bigger. This one's even bigger. So if I can get my hand on here so you can see the comparison. Yeah. That's like 2 hands full. I hope they're still good when they get that big. So anyway, there's a smaller one. I've got several kohlrabis in here, so that will be interesting. Somebody said they taste kind of like radishes. Well, I'm planning on cooking the kohlrabi also, and so that will soften any type of spicy radish type taste, or also any bitter taste. So I'll show you what else I have in my little garden. This is a raised bed, like I said, that my son made. He made it out of cinder blocks. I know there's a lot of ways to make a raised bed, and we decided that this was the place where we wanted to put a couple of them. And so here's one. They're about 4 feet wide, right here, about 4 feet by 22 feet long. And the other one is right over there. And my son is using that one for an herb garden, and it's just full of herbs. Deer seem to not like herbs too much, so he doesn't have any barriers around his raised bed. But yeah, I've had enough deer damage over the years that I'm just doing all I can until I get some fences around my whole property. In my raised bed, I've got some eggplant here. A lot of you might recognize that. And I started those from seeds indoors. I have some garlic that I didn't plant till this spring, so likely it won't be too big. I did plant one row where the eggplant is now. I had a row of garlic that I planted last fall, and I've already harvested it, and they were amazing. Best garlic I've ever grown. As you can see, I've got onions growing all around the perimeter of the garden. there's the kale. You can't see the onions here because the kohlrabi's in the way. You can see that the onions are hiding. There's their little leaves, big leaves. There's more. This is a carrot patch. We'll come around this side. If you take a peek, you can see the onions in there, all around these right here. My grandsons have been helping me harvest a few. There's a big hole right there where we got one yesterday. They're beautiful this year. We're going to harvest these onions soon because they're starting to lay over. You can see how the tops are bending over like that. That means they're about ready to harvest. And you pull them out of the ground, let them dry, let them cure, that's what they say, and then store them in a cool, dark, dry place for the winter. You can see how they're all just hiding in here. There's another one. There's a bigger one. Some big ones in there. See that. Also this year, for the first time, I planted some arugula. So this is a year of experimentation for me. This is the last arugula plant that I planted that I didn't pull out of the ground because I wanted to save some seeds. And you can see that these little tiny seed pods that are left, I've been harvesting the seeds, and when I pinch these seed pods, this is just half of a seed pod right here. When I pinch them, all the seeds just fall out into my hand, and then I can save them. So I have plenty saved for next year. And I do like arugula in the Italian dishes too, like lasagna and spaghetti, things like that. It's really good. So here's more onions. They're all around the perimeter of my garden. First reason is to keep the deer out. Second reason, there's more down in there hiding under the kale. Second reason is they grow well. And I think they also, I don't know if this is true, they might keep some of the bugs away from the other plants that may have damaged the other plants. There's a really big one, you can tell from my hand. Really good. So the soil in my raised bed, oh, I've got a little marigold in there to attract the pollinators and keep bad bugs away from certain plants. Got some pretty good looking brassicas. I hope that the season will be long enough to get something out of these. I can't even remember which ones these were, if it was cauliflower, cabbage. I don't think it's broccoli. Anyway, they're looking pretty good. And I think part of it is because they have a little friend right here. Little marigold. Yeah. Helping it out. And then I planted another one right over there, so that's good. Well, there's the big heap of kale. There's my cattle panel on this side. So, carrots and onions. But today, we're just concentrating on this kale right here. And you know, I think I will show you one more thing. I'm going to just snap off some of these lower stems, the ones that I'm afraid might be too tough to eat. And if you know that they're not too tough, then you can leave a comment and tell me what you do. Here's some that are actually turning yellow that are getting older. You can see those. The other branches might be in the way. There's one that's partly yellow. There's one back in there. It's yellow. But you know what? The chickens think that it's wonderful and delicious and glorious. So I like to share with them whenever I can. So We're gonna take a walk. Here's my handful of chicken feed. I used to tell my kids when they were little, if they threw some scraps out to the chickens for me, I used to say, those chickens are gonna love you for that. And because they do. All right, this is my path. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about that in a sec. Here we go. Hey, Chickie. Most of you guys have gone to bed, but guess what? I'm gonna give you a treat. Yeah, I know it's late. Do the best you can. So I have a peacock. He's way over there. And in that second run, that's the second coop, there's a peacock and 3 hens. No, 4 hens. One's trying to hatch out eggs. And then here, I have a pretty good batch of hens. These are the younger ones. Yeah, you can have a late night snack. See that? They like it. They like it. All right, here's my path that leads from my house out to the chicken coop. And last year it did this, and this year it's doing it again. It's just growing all kinds of weeds in between the pavers. So here's the problem, and I'm sure there's more than one solution to it. Last year, my son said, pour boiling water on it because those are annual weeds and boiling water will kill them. So I tried it and he was right. It did, but not before some of them went to seed, of course. And so this year I have the same problem. So I've decided I'm going to do that again. Pour boiling water on it. I just haven't taken the time to do it yet. But that will be something that I can show progress on, my poor little path. And then also I think what I need to do is put some more mortar and sand in between the pavers, you know, just sweep it in between. If you have any other ideas other than Roundup, I don't really want to use that. Or, you know, maybe there's some organic herbicides that might be good. You can just comment on that with your ideas, and we'll see if we can solve this problem. We've had some rain here the last few days, which has been very welcomed, to say the least. We've been so dry all summer until now. So we're all thankful for the rain. And right along here, I have, just yesterday, I thought, well, I'm just going to grab that weed. I started pulling up some grasses right along here, along that curb, and they just like jumped out of the ground because the ground is so nice and wet from the rain. All right. I'm going to give you a really quick tour of my, I don't know what you want to call it, small space garden. I've got some rainwater in this bucket right here. I'm just going to give my green beans a drink because it rained earlier today, so that was really good. And then I'll move these buckets out of the way. So here it is. I'm really happy with how this cattle panel trellis worked out. And I've been growing, as you can see, pole beans on either side. In the middle there is a big bucket of parsley. It's there for a couple of reasons. Mainly it gets watered there from the hoses when the sprinkler is on, because we normally don't get the wonderful rain that we've had lately. So it's there so it can get watered without me having to water it by hand all the time. And then it also is cute right there. So this is my pea patch, which is spent, of course, this time of year. I've got a brassica right there. I think it's a broccoli. And then I noticed last night that I've got some peas coming on again, which is bonus, so that's really good. There's a few, if you can see on the side of that one, coming up too. So got a sunflower right there. This was my little pea patch this year. When they started going away, then I planted some tomatoes right along there. I don't know how they're going to do because I'm not sure how much sun they get, because I have this tree right up here. Yeah, and there's a couple of branches that just lean out over my little space, my little garden space. So we'll see how it goes. I did plant corn, and it's pretty straggly because I don't think it gets enough sun. These things right here, didn't know what they were for the longest time. They're evening primrose, and so in about, what, I don't even know what time it is. In about an hour, these up here at the top, they're going to, some of them will open as it starts getting dark because they bloom at night. And they are, some of them are taller than me. And these are the ones that bloomed last night, so they're dying, but more will come. And I got them in a pack of wildflower seeds. So just know that when you get wildflower seeds, you might get surprises. There's some tomatoes, and I'm really hoping that they can fruit before the summer ends. One of my favorite flowers is Blue Morning Glory, and that's what these are along this fence. And they're doing really well this year. I planted them last year for the first time in this area, and then this year again, and you can see which ones get more sun, those down there on the end. So coming along here, I also got some nasturtiums to grow, and there they are. And I don't think they get enough sun either. There's one Blue Morning Glory right there that has found its way up the trellis. So that's exciting. All right. Down at this end, right here, is my potato patch. It's the first time I've ever had a potato patch where I planted everything quite close together. And I prefer planting potatoes in the ground as opposed to cloth bags or barrels or buckets or anything like that, because I think they do better in the ground. Back here is my weed patch. Started out being a brassica patch. I do have one cabbage right here. It's trying really hard to grow. See that? There's a potato that wants to help it. To keep the bugs away, I've got a pot of basil right there. Beautiful, wonderful basil. Another pot right there. And that was to protect these broccolis from worms. So I've got 4 broccolis that made it, and another humongous pot of basil. And it's just wonderful. Smells so good. Must be some kind of, I don't know, but it smells good. Okay, so walking back out of my small space, and I need to tell you that about this small space, one of the things that inspired me to do this was a YouTube video that I used to watch called Big Dreams, Small Spaces. And I guess they have a website right now, but it's not on YouTube anymore, apparently. Anyway, it really inspired me. So this was just a little piece of nothing before last year, and last year was the first time I planted it. Then I put this little path in. It's flagstone chips, so very easy to walk on. So that was the inspiration for that. And the reason why I planted the kale, the kohlrabi, the arugula was from YouTube videos that I've watched that inspired me to plant those things and to try them. So don't be afraid to try different things. And I need to show you one more thing. I should have shown you this right at first. Little sign that my sister and brother-in-law gave me. Ah, there we go. Welcome to my garden. And I do welcome you to my garden. I think it'll be fun to share it with you, and any ideas that I have in growing things that might help you. And I just want to remind you, as I pick up one of the kales that fell, okay? Just want to remind you that you don't have to rush through life. You don't have to think that everything needs to be in a big hurry. Just pick one thing, decide what you want to do, what you want to grow, whatever, and just take it slow and enjoy it. I hope to see you back soon. If you like what you saw, you know the spiel if you watch a lot of YouTube videos. So hit that like button, subscribe, comment, and this is all kind of new for me. So anyway, we'll just get through this together, see if we can learn important things about gardening from each other. Thanks for watching.